Hey guys, there are actually two parts of this. One is happy ending with Taehyung and Ryan, and the other is sad ending with both moving on. So if you want to see the sad ending, don't watch this one. Watch the other one that will be uploaded in a few moments. Taehyung couldn't get her out of his head. After that night in the classroom, her words clung to him like damp clothes, heavy and inescapable. I let myself feel something for you. He replayed it over and over, lying awake in his dorm, staring at the ceiling as the hours bled into dawn. Did he feel something back? He didn't know. He wasn't sure he wanted to know. Love was messy, complicated, nothing like the carefree chaos he thrived in. But Ryan wasn't the chaos. She was something else, something he couldn't name. He thought about her constantly. The way her eyes crinkled when she laughed, a rare sound he'd only caught in fleeting moments, like that time in the library when she tripped over a chair and tried to play it off, her giggles slipping out before she could stop. Or her hair, the way it fell across her face when she bent over her notes, and how she'd tuck it behind her ear with an impatient flick. He teased her about it once, calling it her nerd tick, and she'd shot back with something clever that made him grin despite himself. Then there were things she'd done, quite secret things he hadn't acknowledged at the time but couldn't ignore now. Like the night he'd left his philosophy essay in the lecture hall, panicked because it was due the next day. He'd found it slipped under his dorm door later, her handwriting neat in the margins, fixing his sloppy arguments. She'd never said a word, and he'd never thanked her, but he'd known it was her. Or the time he'd been sick, skipping classes, and a bag of soup and cold medicine had appeared outside his room. He'd asked around, but no one owned up to it. He'd known though, Kim Tae-hyung always knew. Those memories twisted something inside him, but it was her hurt face that haunted him the most. The way her eyes had glistened with tears she refused to let fall, the tremble in her voice as she laid into him. It hurt him too, more than he'd expected. He'd spent years building walls of indifference, but she'd cracked them without even trying. And now he didn't know what to do with the pieces. The next day he was sprawled on a bench in the quad, half listening to his friends' chatter when he saw her. She stepped out of a sleek black car, her laugh ringing out as she waved at the driver. Taehyung's eyes narrowed. The driver was a guy, tall, broad shouldered, with a grin that matched hers. He said something, and she swatted his arm, playful and familiar, the way she used to be with Taehyung. His stomach lurched. Who the hell was that? He watched as she walked off, the guy driving away, and his mind spiraled. Was that why she'd been so distant? She'd found someone else, someone who didn't humiliate her in front of a crowd. The thought stung more than it should have. He tried to shake it off, but the jealousy festered. It got worse. A few days later, he saw them again in the cafeteria. She was sitting with Mina, and the guy slid into the seat beside her, dropping a coffee cup in front of her with a wink. She rolled her eyes but smiled, showing him lightly. Taehyung across the room with his tray gripped it so hard the plastic creaked. His friends noticed. "What's up with you, man?" one asked, following his glare. They laughed and he scowled, shoving a fry in his mouth to shut himself up. Then there was the library incident. He'd been lurking near her usual spot. Pathetic. He knew when the guy showed up, leaning over her table to whisper something. She laughed, loud enough to turn heads, and Taehyung's pencil snapped in his hand. He stood abruptly, chairs scraping, and stormed out, ignoring the stares. He didn't care who saw, he was fuming. The final straw came at a party he hadn't even wanted to attend. He'd gone to clear his head, but there she was, by the drinks table with him. The guy handed her a cup, and when she spilled a little, he wiped it off her sleeve with a laugh, his hand lingering. Taehyung, already 3 beers in, saw red. He marched over, shoving between them without thinking. Watch it, he slurred, glaring at the guy. Wine blinked, startled. Taehyung, what? You okay? He cut her off, turning to her, ignoring the guy entirely. People were staring now, whispers rippling through the crowd. Wine grabbed his arm, pulling him back. Stop it, she hissed. You're making a scene. He yanked free, turning on her. She turned to the guy, muttering an apology, and walked off. Taehyung stood there, chest heaving, as the crowd snickered. He did humiliate himself again. And for what? But it clicked then. Watching her leave, the jealousy, the ache, the way he couldn't stop thinking about her. And he'd screwed it up so badly she didn't even see him anymore. He tried to fix it. For 6 months, he tried everything. He'd wait outside the library every day, sitting on the steps with a coffee he'd bought for her, hoping she'd stop. She never did. He'd leave notes in her locker, apologies, dumb jokes, anything to get a reaction. They'd be gone the next day, but she never mentioned them. He'd linger after class, catching her eye, but she'd look away, her expression blank. He stopped joking around with his friends, stopped caring about the parties or the pranks. All he wanted was her forgiveness, but she wouldn't give it. He didn't blame her, he'd hurt her too deep, and he knew it. His birthday rolled around 6 months to the day since the classroom fight. He'd always waited for her outside the library, but that day he didn't. He couldn't take another rejection, not on his birthday. Instead, he went to the beach near campus, sitting alone on the sand, watching the waves crash in the dark. The air was cold, biting, but he didn't care. He was tired, tired of chasing, tired of hoping, tired of himself. Back on campus, Vine frowned as she left the library, a small cake box in her hands. She'd noticed he wasn't there, and it threw her off. She'd planned to forgive him today. 6 months of his persistence had worn her down, softened the edges of her anger. She'd even remembered his birthday, something she'd never admit out loud, but he wasn't there. She sighed, heading off to find him. She spotted him on the bench, his silhouette hunched against the wind. Her steps slowed, then she steeled herself, walking over. You didn't wait, she said, her voice cold despite the nerves fluttering in her chest.